Out of time, but you did mention that the tractor sales, etc., have been picking up, so that's a story to look at. We've invited a management. Escorts has reported stellar sales in the month of March. The overall sales went up 66% for the company, and for the full year, the total sales have gone up almost about 26% or so. The management joins us now to talk about that. Mr. Bharat Madan, the CFO of the company, is with us. Mr. Madan, good morning and thanks for joining in. The last time when we spoke to you, you had indicated that about a 7 to 8% tractor industry growth for FY19 is something that you're forecasting. But given that the year end has been so good for the industry as a whole, you think double-digit growth is also possible next year?
Yes, Sonia, I think if you look at the numbers, the way the quarter has really panned out, we were all projecting this quarter is going to be a very strong quarter for the industry. But obviously nobody expected it to be as strong as giving 40% plus growth. So obviously everybody has been taken with a very positive surprise, and we expect, I think, the momentum certainly will continue to Q1 also for next year. But having said that, I think if looking at the kind of position we're getting in for the normal monsoon likelihood, which is likely to happen, probably you can see a positive surprise to go to again double digit next year. So our conservative estimate today is still at about single digit, but anything is possible given the current scenario.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Madan. Actually, this is an industry-wide phenomenon, as you point out. We were just looking at the VST tailors numbers as well. What they have sold in March is almost double, or maybe a little more than double, that they sold in February, and that is ditto for you as well. 6,200 in Feb and 11,550 in March. What should we assume as a number for the next quarter? That's April, May, June.
Well, I think one of the reasons we said this quarter was likely to do well also because the festive season had preponed to March. So now the Astra season, which used to split between March and April, or normally come in April, this time is in March. So all out industry numbers is seeing giving very good numbers. So which means some sort of correction probably will happen in April because the March has seen the preponement of the season. But overall, I think for the first quarter, which is going to be a very strong season for the Rabi crop, so we expect, I think, it will give handsome, I think, in the growth for the industry. So you can actually look at double-digit growth happening in first quarter.
All right. And what about margins? I mean, one knows that input prices are going up, but will you be able to maintain margins or improve them?
Well, for the last quarter, definitely we have introduced some products at the lower end of the HP segmentation, which is the mix will be slightly negative in this quarter compared to the earlier quarters, so which probably could have some pressure on the margin. So I think the effort was still to maintain the level what we have been giving in the past. And next year guidance, in any case, we said we'll be looking at 1% margin up compared to the FY18 numbers. So that's, I think, something which will again try to hold.
Okay. You have been conservative as far as your estimate for the industry is concerned. You spoke about single-digit growth for the full year. But what about escorts? Because for FY18, your full year sales have gone up by 26%. What do you think you can do in FY19?
Well, obviously, our effort will be to do better than the industry. So we should be looking at double-digit growth. But I think having said that, we also should look at the last 2 years of growth which we have seen. So last FY17 we had grown by 24%, and FY18 again its growth is 25+%. So I think given the 2 very strong years, there is always reason for us to be a little cautious, I think, for the third year in a row, and which can really see some sort of correction happening, but still be expecting the growth will continue.
Okay.
Do you export, and how is that market doing?
Sorry, come again?
How much do you export, and how is that market doing?
Well, export this year we have grown almost 80% like over last year. So, but the base is very low for us. So we were close to 2,000 numbers, and we expect, I think, we'll probably add another 1,000 odd numbers next year. So it'll be 3,000 plus sort of number we're looking at for next year.
Okay. In terms of market share, the last time you had indicated to us that you're looking to do stand, at about 11.5% market share. Where does it stand at currently, and what's the outlook now for the next, say, 3 to 6 months?
Well, if you look at the full year FY18, we are ending at about 11.1% market share, so which is about 30 basis points up over last year.
Okay.
So if you look at the quarter ended March, we are shown a very strong performance there. So I think March quarter we are almost at about 13.5% market share. So which normally is also the season months for us for the northern market. So normally our market share is high in the last
Okay. Just one more question on
you-
higher horsepower tractors, because we had spoken about that last time as well. Demand is picking up for higher horsepower tractors, and you guys have also looking at the above 50 HP segment. Do you think that could bring a large amount of volumes, and what about margins?
I think if you look at overall industry, which is at 50 HP and segmented above, is very small. Still, it's about 7-8%. So I think in the overall industry segmentation, still the major segment lies between 30 to 50 HP segment. So even though the growth will probably be faster, but the base is very small as of now. So we don't think it will really be a game changer really for the industry in terms of volumes or margin. But yes, the trend is towards the higher HP now going forward.
All right. Mr. Bharat Madan, pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us and analysing what are spectacular numbers that have come from the tractor sector and from Escorts in particular.